But again, there's no wrong way to play this. But again, as a player, when you are playing a match, these are the things you have to be aware of. The reason why I started playing online, which is actually, thank you for the segue, Fresh Cyborg. The reason why I've started playing with the microphone off is because the microphone on allows me to spiral into that emotion by just whining and complaining all day. And again, I don't even believe half the shit sometimes that I whine and complain about, but I just have to because it's so frustrating for me to lose in these matches that I just need to verbalize it in some way, shape, or form. By turning the microphone off, that kind of kills it. That allows me to regather myself, approach the match from being from a smarter viewpoint. I notice when I play and I don't stream that I play that much better, but again, I think it has more to do with me spiraling myself down there. So, as an emotional player, when you are sitting here and running into the situation as RobTV, this is something that Rob may not have considered, right? If RobTV is playing now, what I would do if I was a coach for RobTV, Sigma Nuts, Baked ZT, Sigma Nuts. If I was a coach for RobTV, I would focus on this aspect of his game. I would focus on the emotional aspect of his game. That in these situations, he has to work a little bit harder to not let his emotions affect him like this. But again, based on how I was watching him play, the body language of just his character, I don't have to see him, but every time I was like, now he's feeling himself, and then a teabag came like almost immediately afterwards. Every time I've said that, he teabagged right afterwards. And so, like, you know, just through the body language of how he was playing, the calls that he was making, the decisions that he was making, I felt like I could read that emotion. And the problem is, if I can do it, that means Zaferino can do it. That means anybody else who fights him can do it as well. And so, as a player, and, you know, it's silly for me to say this, and again, keep in mind, I love RobTV to death. I said that at the beginning. I'm not trying to talk smack to him. If we played, he would kick my ass like so badly. This is me trying to help him be a much stronger player because I want to see him succeed because I love RobTV. I think he makes great content and everything like that. And it's hard to be an analyst like this and analyze players because I hate when it sounds like I'm critiquing a player like I know better than them. I don't, obviously, because otherwise I would be the one playing in these matches, but no one wants to challenge me because I'm a scrub. The point is, you know, this is the area that I feel like he could work on, and I think that this would be something that would benefit him greatly, and I would love to see that kind of success from him. I would love to see that kind of success from him, and I think that would be really, really important. And yeah, and you know, you see some of the players out there who have learned to combat that. Tokido was a very emotional player too. He has literally tried to find ways to break that. That's why he started doing the breathing at one point in time. You know, he doesn't do it as much anymore because I think he's gotten a control of his emotions. But if you don't think Tokido is emotional, that one year that he won Canada Cup, he started crying afterwards because it meant so much to him winning that tournament, you know, to show that, yes, I can win in Street Fighter V because, you know, Street Fighter 4, I relied on gimmicks and Vortex, and Street Fighter 5, I can't do that. I have to outplay my opponents, and he did it, and he won Canada Cup, and he cried afterwards. He cried after he lost to Daigo. If you don't think Tokido is an emotional man, you don't know Tokido, right? But he's learned how to calm it down. He's learned how to control it. You know, this is one of the things that Mikey, XSK, I'm sorry, not XSK, just Samurai. This is the one thing that Samurai has learned to do as well. He's very much about the Zen, about the controlling of your emotion. It is a very crucial aspect of playing fighting games, and it is what makes the difference, you know. And again, you know, obviously I love Flo to death, and I'm going to bring up the Floke again, not as a means in which to, talk down on Flo, but the reason why he suffers from that, as do I, so I say this in solidarity with Flo, is because we're both very emotional people. When we play in casuals, we play a lot better as soon as we play on stream, on tournament, where people are watching us and we know we're being judged by everything we do. It affects us, and it's hard for us to concentrate properly. And that is a sign of just having trouble controlling the emotions. There was one time I was playing online here in Street Fighter V, and I was playing and people were watching, and I was just losing, and I fell into this, I was just seriously I'm the worst, I'm terrible, and I hit a low, and then just in the middle of that I was like, you know what, no, I'm just getting lazy, I'm not concentrating. Focus, I just need to focus again, and I went back and focused, and then I won a few matches in a row, and I got myself back into it. I was able to kind of fight that, but that was one of the first times I can recall myself actually doing that, actually countering my own emotions by thinking about it. But that's the important part, by understanding myself as a heart player, as a player of the heart. By understanding that my emotions can affect me so much when I play the game, I know that when I want to play stronger, it's not about remember to anti-air, remember to do this. No, it's more about calm down, focus, don't be lazy, don't let the mental fatigue get you, and just, don't spiral yourself down into this negative space. Put yourself in a more positive space. And this is what emotional players have to do. So, that's what, like I said, Tokido's done it. XSK Samurai has done it. Samurai has done it. Although Samurai has always... he is a heart player, don't get me wrong. He's a very massive heart player. He just does what feels right at the time. So he's done it as well. And I think that this is one of those things that, if RobTV actually manages to integrate into his game, that he will be one of the best. He's clearly already there. He's clearly at that gateway of being one of the best, of consistently placing in top 8. And I love his personality. He's got that personality, and he doesn't have to lose the personality to get to this point either, because you have someone like Smug as well, who's obviously super great and also very emotional and happy and fun and stuff like that. So Rob 100% has the time to, RobTV has the ability to become one of the best players in the country, 100%. And so, that's kind of why I want to analyze this. I wanted to see if my guess, even before I watched the match, my guess of what happened. In fact, I came here to analyze, to find the Vladi missed dunk moment without even necessarily knowing if there was going to be a Vladi missed dunk moment. But you can ask the people on the stream who have been here since the beginning. I brought up that story at the very beginning. Something in my mind told me that moment was going to exist in this match. And it did. As soon as it happened, Rob never won a game again. He was up 5-3. He went for one cheeky little gimmick, and it didn't work, and he never won a game again. So, I was as surprised as anybody else that there truly was that moment to call out. But it happened, and so it was just, I don't know. For me, this was the perfect match for me to analyze in this viewpoint, and I think it's a really important way to understand fighting games from an emotional standpoint. Like I said, I feel like this is a particular specialty of mine, and when I do commentary, that this is the aspect I focus on a lot when I do commentary. Because usually I commentate with David or I commentate with Sajam. They're going to have the match knowledge. They're going to have the science to it. So I'm going to bring the emotion to the table. That's what I do on commentary. I feel like I have a very good read on the emotion of the players while they're playing. And I think it's so important. And I talk about it a lot because I need players who are learning fighting games to understand that aspect as well. So I hope people in the chat have found this educational, studying the match from an emotional standpoint. I'm looking at some of the the comments in the chat. Sorry, I haven't been reading the chat as much over here. So Nutacon says, I want to get so good where I feel no fear, frustration, or anger. Only a desire for socks. Every move calculated to get me closer to sock money. Obviously, joke for IDOM. But what I want to mention is that nobody gets so good where they feel no fear, frustration, or anger. Nobody gets that way except Infectious. Although Infectious has even admitted that he does get nervous in my interview question with him at CPT. He does get nervous. So no matter who you are, see, this is the other thing that I would like people to understand as well. Nobody gets to the point where they aren't nervous, frustrated, or angry. Everybody stays that way at the highest levels, no matter who you are. I don't think there's a single person out there who won't get salty after a loss or get nervous when they're playing in a big match. Impossible. So the goal right there is to learn how to channel that nerves and how to focus it in different directions. That is what you have to do, and that is what I'm trying to learn myself as I'm playing online, is learning how to channel my frustrations in different ways, which is why the camera no mic method for me is fun as well, because I know people can't hear me, so when I lose and get mad, I go into super mime mode, which actually kind of breaks me out of the anger and pulls me into more of the humor side of things, and it makes me kind of like enjoy the anger a little bit more. And so it's actually made me play better. I've been playing a lot better recently from doing that. And so that's kind of the thing. You just have to learn how to channel those emotions into a different way that can lead to success. Overhaul says, one thing I've noticed, Sigma Nuts Trip 451. And yeah, while I'm here saying this stuff over here, Sigma Nuts Cat Butts to Trip. While I'm here saying that, if you guys do appreciate this content and love this kind of analysis, please consider subscribing. Please consider donating, gift subs, all that stuff as well to help keep me doing this and bringing you guys more content like this. If I take a game early or bring it to 1v1 versus a bracket demon and I do a pop-off, I find I play worse afterwards because I'm caught up in that recent win and not the games I still need to play. Yes, absolutely. That's another one of those emotion situations where you pop off, and now what you've done is you've set an expectation of yourself, and so you think about that pop-off. You think about that pop-off and you're like, crap, should I not have popped off? Oh my God, am I going to be that guy that popped off and I'm going to lose now? So what you've done is you've taken your focus away from the game, and now you've put your focus on this completely external thing. And so now your gameplay is going to suffer. So 100%, that's one of the tough things, why you don't pop off early, unless it's like NuckleDo, who does it not to pop off, but to as a kind of reminder to himself to concentrate. NuckleDo has said that he teabags people not because he's trying to pop off on them, but to make sure that he remains focused. You know, it's like Jeff Hornacek? Or was it John Stockton? Who was it? Shoot, Jason Kidd. It was Jason Kidd who would touch the side of his face when he went to a free throw, or was that Hornacek? Shoot, it was one of those two, but they would touch the side of their face to remind themselves of certain things to do. There was one person who would dribble once to the side, then dribble back to the middle and shoot the basketball, because every time he dribbled to the side, it was a reminder to do a certain thing when he shot the free throw with the proper form. And that's what NuckleDo does with the teabagging. It's a way for him to make sure he plays at the same level constantly, that he doesn't get mental fatigue. It's kind of a way to... he can do it without worrying about what it says about him, and maybe cause his opponents to get a little tilted, and to remind him to stay at the highest level that he has. Yeah, to the point where I have to force myself to stay even keeled in those moments. instead of feeling too elated, especially Overhaul, because you are an Alex player, right? And Alex is clearly the worst character in the game. Just kidding. Just kidding. Oh, what's going on, Artemis? How's it going? Thanks, Trip. Look, your streams have been effing stupid good level of quality. Seriously, bro, props for the content. I feel like I'm class every day you've been streaming. Thank you, Trip. I appreciate that so much. Asked Jimmy J. Tran, how are you so calm in the clutch? He said, I'm not. I'm good at not showing it. Exactly. And again, nobody is not scared in those situations. And Artemis says, in my public speaking class, which I took for teaching, they said something very relevant to what you're saying. If you're ever not nervous, you're doing it wrong, because then it's become routine for you and there's no worry about it going wrong. Yeah. That's actually a great way to look at it. If you're not nervous, it means you don't care. It means you're dead inside. And it's just another thing that you're doing. If you're nervous, it means you care, you've got the passion, and it means you're alive. So I think that's the right way to look at it. And honestly, after a lot of explanation from you, both on Twitter and the First Attack stuff, I've become way less emotional. I know a lot more about what I don't know, so it's far less frustrating even if I'm not winning, really winning more. Exactly, Duck Helmet. That's kind of the whole point, right? Is you, and again, it's hard because, you know, when you learn all sorts of other things, if you're trying to learn tennis, you have a coach who will sit there and rally with you for a very, very long time. This is why we need online training mode, by the way. They'll rally with you. They're not trying to beat you every time. When you're trying to learn basketball, you're going to be learning dribble drills. You're going to dribble up and down the court. You're going to take set jump shots and learn to shoot three-pointers and stuff like that. When you try to learn fighting games, you go on to ranked and get your ass kicked right away. And that's the problem, is that you go in and get your ass kicked right away. There's no way to actually practice. There's no way to have any proper drills, although I know Super Joe Monday has Geef's Gym, which has some drill exercises in there for you. But it's different because you can't practice a lot of neutral things without having a good coach playing alongside with you, teaching those things, to have that guy on the other side of the net just rallying the ball actually back at you so you can hit it instead of trying to throw you off, you know? And so the hardest thing about it is, with everything, if you go into the guitar, you're gonna be like, I need to transition from this chord to this chord, and I need to do this in half a second. So I'm trying to build the muscle. Blung, 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 blung. Blung, blung. Blung, 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 blung. And everybody will do that. And everybody understands that. But with fighting games, you're thrown into the fire, and so everyone wants to be good right away. There's not this message of, yes, you're going to go in here and suck for a really long time, but there's no good place to go to and suck at fighting games. So the hardest part is that you have to learn as an early fighting game player to not get mad at losing all the time right away, but all you do is watch your points go down and other people will teabag you and stuff like that, and you're just like, I hate everything. And so it's hard, and which is why I'm always on this narrative kick to tell people that fighting games are hard, because people need to understand that it is difficult. It is something that you need to lose a lot, and everybody's like, well, you know, if you can't take it, then you're just weak. And no. You don't take it because it sucks and it's not fun. And absolutely, if I wasn't playing fighting games since the beginning, I wouldn't want to learn this shit. God damn, I would be like, oh my God, this sucks. I'm out of here. You know, it's like, it's very tough. It's very, very tough. But you got to learn to take those lumps. But at the same time, if you can learn what Duck Helmet says, if you can learn and understand what it is about your play that is causing you to lose, then that's where the growth will come in. And the first time you process it and go, wait a minute, I think I recognize the storyline of this key moment, so this time I'm going to do this, and then it works, and you're like, it worked. And like all of a sudden, just like the world, just like all of a sudden, it's like when Star-Lord, you know, saw the universe when his dad touched his head and he was like, I see the whole universe. Like that's the kind of feeling you get when all of a sudden you reach those levels of fighting games. And a lot of times it takes a lot of, I need to learn this myself, but we need the teachers out there. That's what I'm hoping I can do for people out there, is to teach people this kind of aspect of fighting games. So there you go. Well, the other thing about the people who blather you can't take it because you're weak are saying that to make themselves feel better, not even necessarily, is because they don't realize how much work it actually took them a lot of the times. Especially older players like me, because, you know, we've gotten to learn things over the course of 20 years. And so it's been easy for us. But also, there are also some players who are just naturally talented, who just have a mind for this, who learn it super fast, and they don't understand how hard it is. They really just don't understand how hard it is. You know, I've always said I'm a volume player, and you can see it, right? I don't have that natural talent to be amazing at fighting games. I can be good at fighting games if I put in the work, because I understand what I'm going into. But because of that, I come from a more sympathetic, I come from a more empathetic viewpoint of what it takes to learn fighting games. And I do still think it's one of the hardest things to learn, because it's so emotionally brutal. It is one of the most emotionally brutal things out there. A lot of the players out there who do say that it's not actually that hard to learn fighting games are also people who are very good at controlling their emotions as well. You know, me and David get into this conversation a lot, and he's someone who doesn't see eye to eye with how I see games and emotions, but he's also a very scientific player. You know, a lot of people are like that. A lot of the people out there are very scientific players, and so it's easier for them to approach the game and lose and not feel bad. But, you know, over half the people out there have this emotional quantity in them. You know, whether it's full emotion or partial emotion or whatever like that. And so this is an aspect of teaching fighting games that I don't think enough people do. This is an aspect of teaching fighting games that I don't think a lot of people do. It's where I'm kind of focused on philosophy, on your mindset, and all this stuff. So that's kind of where I'm trying to get. So, any case, that's all I've got for this stream today. In 2 more hours, we're going to be going back to Generation Spacing, which is the podcast with myself, Tubaware, and Ebonic Plague. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff, including Iroha trailer for Samurai Showdown, the new Mortal Kombat 11 stuff, and all of the other completely random shit that we just talk about, completely unfiltered. Well, not completely, mostly unfiltered. It's always a very, very good time. I think that's really fun. Yes, that is true. Justicia, they actually just announced that they are patching on PS4. It's out already. It's going to come out on Steam soon. But Last Blade 2 Code Mystics has now retrofitted rollback netcode into that game, like they did with Garu Mark of the Wolves. So that's super awesome. Shout outs to Code Mystics now, who has all this experience ripping out the delay netcode in favor of the rollback netcode. They've seen the increase in sales and plays in Garu Mark of the Wolves, so now they're doing it for Last Blade 2. Honestly, seriously, shout outs and thank you so much to the Code Mystics team for putting this extra effort to update their already existing games. So if you've already bought it, it's free DLC. But shout outs to them for going that extra mile. Seriously. Kisses fingertips for those guys over there. Yeah, teaching is its own skill, scholartist, and that's kind of where I'm hoping I can excel at, is being a teacher, because I can approach it from all the different I can teach the science part of Street Fighter or fighting games, and I can teach the emotional part of fighting games. I feel like I'm in a unique position for that. So I do hope people out there do appreciate that kind of viewpoint from here. But if you guys do appreciate this content, if you do think that this stuff is useful, and of course, if you have the means by which to support me, feel free to subscribe, donate, everything like that. Obviously, I was on pace to try to hit 500 subs by July. That got destroyed by the quarantine, and we're all suffering now. I totally get that. Please use your money to take care of yourself first. If you have anything extra, if you're one of the fortunate ones that the quarantine hasn't hurt you as badly financially, feel free to subscribe, gift sub here as well. If you have Amazon Prime and you haven't used your Twitch Prime, you can use that option as well. There's many easy ways to do that. You can click the drop down on the subscribe on the actual page. Let me see. Yeah, click the drop down on subscribe, and then there's the if you scroll a little further down, you'll see the free subscription with Twitch Prime. You can subscribe that way as well if you haven't used yours yet. So thank you guys. Thank you, Trip. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that very much. And thank you, Nutacon, for the bits. It's a little early for me to feed the cats, so unfortunately I'm not going to feed the cats on stream right now. I apologize, Nutacon. I owe you some cat feeding. In fact, you know what? Since it's early, I won't feed the cats their food, but I'll give them some treats. So you can actually watch them get some treats. So you'll get something out of it. So let's do this instead. Here we go. I see Jasmine over here. What I'm going to do is rotate this monitor. You can see Jasmine. Let's do this. I see Nathan like crouching his head down. He was like, oh my God, time for food, time for food. Let me move this fan out of the way so you guys can see Nathan over here. Nathan, want a treat? Woo! Get the treat. Oh God, what are you doing? I like to play volleyball with Jasmine over here. Jasmine. Oh! She did not jump up and bat it out of the air just yet. Come here, Nathan. Oh, dang. You see him like swipe after that? Here you go. Jasmine. Boy, you are tired right now. You are not jumping up and trying to hit these out of the air. I'm going to throw it higher up in the air for her. Oh, nice. Okay. Here we go, Jasmine. You ready? Ready? Dude, she is so lazy mode right now. You are not even trying, Jasmine. Let's try one more time. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, Jasmine. Ready for this? Jasmine? Jasmine, you ready for this? Uno más. Uno más. What are you looking for? I'm going to toss another one at you, Jasmine. Here we go. Ha! Oh, boy, she's just in lazy mode. All right, fine. Here, Nathan. Come here. Come here, Nathan. Come here, Nathan. Come here, Nathan. Oh, yeah. Show me that. Oh, God. Good kitty. Good kitty. I don't think you guys saw that because I think the subscription notice was there, but oh, dang, he missed it that time. And one more for Jasmine. Wow! Oh, good. Now I can get Nathan a little closer here for you guys. Here, watch, watch. Come here, Nathan. Oh, good boy. Good boy. Here. Lick the powder off my fingers here. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. All right. Rotate my monitor back over here. Oh, there you go. Okay. Thanks, guys, for watching. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys had fun. I am knocking things down and dropping things everywhere. I don't even know what I'm knocking down, but thank you, Scholartist, for the sub. Appreciate that so much. Appreciate that very, very much. Every little bit helps a lot. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. Take care. Hope you guys have a good night. Like I said, in 2 hours, Generation Spacing will be starting. The podcast where myself, Tubaware, and Ebonic Plague just kind of shoot the shit for a while and have a good time. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night and peace out.